we are once again reset for their signature talk as it's titled That Will, ladies and gentlemen. Hold yourself because this will accelerate the AI advantage for all of us. While I appreciate all of you being present in humongous numbers, I think it makes the dialogue ever so impactful. So what's the wait for? I'm all set to be warmly welcoming on stage this time the Chief Practice Officer, Asia Pacific and Middle East region from Fractal AI, Sandeep Dutta. It's time to say lights, camera, and action for you in the city of Pune. I'm sure you will welcome him with all the warmth that you've got. Sandeep, hi, and a very warm welcome to you.
So there is one deadly disease. Every 3 seconds, somebody catches it. Every 24 seconds, somebody dies of it. And nearly 25% of all humans carry it. Any guesses? Okay. But while we get to that, the question is, can AI stop it? What if AI could stop it? Like a lot of us look at AI, we talk of productivity, we talk of efficiency, we talk of 25% increase in what we can do in work. But can AI be really game-changing and solve such complex problems that are besetting our world? This disease is tuberculosis, right? And it's prevalent across the world. It is prevalent in India. It is especially a problem in the developing world. 3.5 million with TB go undiagnosed every year, and the problem with the undiagnosed people is this is one of the most infectious diseases. While they're undiagnosed, they're infecting many more people. There is, of course, the real cost of people who have a health issue with TB. There is an economic cost of loss of productivity, etc. It is really a big problem for the world. And as we saw, the TB has a huge toll on the world. Now, there is one AI solution. It's called Cure.ai. Incidentally, it was incubated by Fractal that set out to solve this problem very differently. The traditional problem with tuberculosis is that the test that you need to do is a pathology test. It takes 2 days for the result to come out. And using a pathology test and screening a lot of people is always going to be problematic. In developing worlds where patients are not very well educated, they may come in for a test. They may never come back for the result. Right? In the 2 days that you're waiting, they're infecting people. If they never come back, they continue to infect people. Now, what Cure does is leveraging AI in a very different way and using image recognition and deep learning techniques to diagnose TB from X-rays. So Cure is able to read radiology scans. It reads CT scans. It reads MRI scans. It reads X-rays and other radiology scans. And the advantage is that the screening and the result is immediate. It gives a result in a couple of seconds. And over different tests, it has met the efficiency that you get from human radiologists. It is recognized by the FDA. It is recognized by the WHO, the World Health Organization, as a product that can be used in the absence of a radiologist and pathologist. Now, that's the level of impact and efficiency that AI can bring to solving some of the most complex problems in the world. It has been used effectively across the globe, across 90 locations to screen. It has been used to diagnose people who were previously undiagnosed with tuberculosis, and it's really making an impact in the developing world. Now, the reason I bring out is because a lot of our discussion does tend to be on a limited aspect of Gen AI, a limited aspect of what it can do in terms of improving efficiency, but this is really a game-changing technology. And clearly, the age of AI has begun. We firmly believe this is going to be one of the biggest technology revolutions, much bigger than the internet, mobile, and cloud combined. But what is it doing today? One of the clear areas is that today's AI is able to capture knowledge, interact like a human being, and sometimes better than a human being. And we are seeing that demonstrated many times. I'll give you an example. This example is of a gentleman called Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall Goldsmith is one of the leading enterprise coaches across the globe. He coaches the CEOs of Fortune 100 companies. And he's in his mid-70s, and his thought process was that how do I leave my legacy behind? All my knowledge, all my expertise, how do I open it up to people and how I leave it behind as I get older? And he tasked us to create a digital twin. Now, digital twin, we see the amazing thing GenAI does in terms of generating text, in terms of ingesting knowledge. But for somebody like Marshall, the challenge is not just that somebody should be able, digital twin should be able to give out my knowledge and absorb that. His biggest challenge is it cannot spoil my reputation. It cannot hallucinate. It cannot say things that I would not say. So Marshall wanted it to only focus on management leadership. If you go and ask Marshall's digital twin, what do you think of President Trump? It will not respond, right? He wants it to focus on very specific areas. So from a technical perspective, this was a task to make sure that the hallucination is zero, right? I'll just give you a glimpse of.
As I mentioned in my blog post, the question of whether good leaders are born or made is a frequently asked one in leadership development.
So I'll sort of pause there. I don't want to play the whole video, but the reason I play this video is this is an AI-generated video of Marshall. Marshall told us this anecdote where he sent it to his own daughter, who's a professor in a US university, and the daughter said, "Why are you sending me this video? I see you on YouTube all the time. All the time your videos are floating around." She could not differentiate that this is not Marshall, and it is an AI-generated video. That is the power to which, in terms of generating human-like content, AI is released. And I'm sure you're seeing examples, both good and bad, all around us. If I look at another area, it is going beyond, and it is solving problems that take expertise, right? We already talked about the X-ray example. I am sure some of you have followed what Google DeepMind has done in terms of really predicting the structure of proteins and how they will fold, which is one of the fundamental problems in medicine that AI has been able to solve, that researchers have not been able to solve over ages. But very relevant to many of us in the room, one of the areas it has really taken off is in coding, right? Today, I'm sure, again, this news that you are following, that we are seeing a lot of impact across coding, and some of the GenAI startups that are addressing coding are the most valuable ones today. And we'll talk a little bit more about agentic, but as you bring in multi-agentic frameworks, it can start functioning like a team. This is something, again, that at Fractal we have released. It's called Pioneer, and this is essentially a data science team, entirely agentic, right, with different roles being played by different agents, and then an orchestrator layer that functions like a team leader. And this is, it's producing great results. It's taking part in Kaggle competitions and really doing extremely well. But that's the future, right? That's where it is heading. If I look at another area, which is on reasoning, right? What do human beings do? We take all the knowledge, right? We look at difficult problems, and we are able to reason and make things happen. Now, that's again where AI is really impacting, and I'll play a short video.
I think of all the versions of GPT as embodying reasoning of some kind, but the new version has much more context when it approaches a problem. I want to see how good an economist is it. So I thought of questions that you might find on, say, PhD level exams. Quote, under what conditions do tariffs improve the terms of trade for a domestic nation and thus boost domestic welfare? Then, given that scenario, can you think of second best arguments why the potential tariff hike might not be such a good idea after all? These second best arguments should include public choice considerations, but should not be restricted to them either. End quote. It's kind of complex, right? You're not like, oh, I know that one.
So I'll not play the whole thing, but effectively, AI reasoned, it was an OpenAI tool, it reasoned and said it is not beneficial to domestic economy. So it's a pretty complex question. It is very topical. Clearly, many of the political leaders have not seen that answer, and we are seeing what's happening in the world. But that's the power of AI. It is doing the work that a PhD candidate does already. And remember, this is the lowest point in AI development we will ever be in our history. It is only going to get better from here, right? It can only get better. That's where we are reaching. Again, reasoning is a very powerful area. Reasoning models, being able to do mathematics, that's again an area Fractal is investing in. We have released our model called Fathom, which is one of the most downloaded on Hugging Face and is doing very well on benchmarks. The question is that as more and more of AI solutions come out, we feel that this is going to be exponential because the cost of intelligence, the cost of using AI, the cost of inference is going down towards zero. right? We have constantly seen that from where it started, as new models get released, the cost of using that intelligence is going to zero. What happens when the cost of a product goes to zero? Let's look at some examples that we have seen in our lifetime develop, right? I'm sure all of you remember a time that if you traveled outside your city or outside the country, you really worried about data roaming and you turned off data roaming. Or, the time when you took pictures with the camera roll and you said, I have to be very careful how I take the picture because only 36 are going to come out, only 11 of them are going to be bad. It costs a lot of money to develop that. Today, you take a digital phone and you are taking a picture anywhere, you're storing thousands of pictures, you're not worrying about any of that cost. All of that is a result of a technology coming in, the cost of which is going towards zero. The same is going to happen to AI. AI is going to be exponential, it is going to be available everywhere, it's going to get used everywhere, it's going to be like electricity. But as that happens, why is it not translating to enterprise performance consistently? And how do we make sure that it translates to enterprise performance? So I will just try to go through a few suggestions on what you could do within the enterprise, within the GCC. I think the first is to think agentic. All of us, I'm sure, have read and thought about agentic. I talked about the kind of model that Marshall Bot is. Those would all form in more knowledge-oriented, pre-training kind of model. You can think of it as a high school student. What do you do in a school? You are learning knowledge, right? You are absorbing everything that the world has already discovered. So that is what AI has done at that stage. It has learned everything that was written, it has learned every picture that was produced, and it is generating something out of it. The next stage that we are seeing is reasoning and planning. Now that I know everything, like a college student, like a PhD student, I need to start making sense out of it. I need to have my own conclusions. That's the reasoning stage. It's like a university graduate. But what is relevant for us in companies? It is the working professional. How do I take these two stages and convert it into somebody who will come and start contributing to my organization? And that is what an agent is, right? That is where agentic AI comes into play. And how do teams work today? They work together, and that is what is multi-agentic AI, right? Bringing multiple agents to work together and replicate a team and produce results. That is what is most important for enterprises. And therefore, my first suggestion is start thinking agentic. You have to start planning for multi-agentic and agentic activities. What is an agent, right? We hear this word a lot, and there are assistants. To just give a differentiation, an assistant is somebody, I will give the instruction, it will just make it happen. Wake me up at 7 a.m. Agent has intelligence, agency, the ability to bring all of this knowledge together. I can tell an agent, I want you wake me up tomorrow so much that I have time for my workout, I have time to get my breakfast, take into account weather conditions, take into account traffic conditions, I need to reach office by 9. It will do all the work for you in the back end and make this happen for you. So that's what agentic is going to take us towards. I think the best example that I can think of an agent is Waymo. The way that Waymo approached the automated car driving solution was not to create a car that drives itself. They created a driver, an agent that will drive any car. And I think it is beautifully scaling up and working out. And then, for an enterprise at Fractal, we have a full framework. We have multiple agents already ready. We have tools, right? We can start translating it into business processes. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I think the second thing that I'll say is embed AI in every decision. If you look at an enterprise, you can think of decisions as either recurring or one-off, difficult to frame or easy to frame, and they have significant impact and small impact, right? In the last panel discussion, we talked a lot about impact. Every decision will be impacted by AI and will have a role to play. The mergers and acquisition kind of strategic decision, right? Those are the decisions still humans will take, but with AI assistance, with better data, with better information, not by the gut. The more tactical decisions, right? That is where humans and AIs will come together. So think of reimagining every business process in your organization with human and AI within it. And the more operational decisions, right? More repetitive, cognitive kind of decisions will be replaced by AI experts. We will have to build guardrails. You have to give it human oversight. But AI experts, AI agents will take over those decisions. Just an example of a collections process, reimagined a full multi-agentic process. Human and AI will coexist. And that's how I think every business process in an organization will get reimagined in the next 6 months to 1 year. The next a suggestion that we have based on our learnings is that always think user-centric decision backwards. Don't think technology upwards. I have this data. I have invested in this technology stack. What can I build on top? That is not going to get you impact and results. What are the biggest business problems that my organization needs to solve? What is the biggest impact? Who's going to use it? put yourself in the life of a user every day, only then you'll get adoption. There's no point getting a brilliant technical solution which you can't operationalize, nobody adopts it, there is no impact, right? If nobody uses it, there is no impact. Fourth, very important, is to build guardrails. I'll just give you a couple of examples. This first example is of an MIT student called Joy. Joy was doing some research for a project, and she needed to use some image recognition software. And what she found to her surprise is that the image recognition software did not recognize her at all. So she chose another one. And these are all from some of the leading technology companies in the world. She chose another one, and she got recognized as a blur. She had a white mask lying around from a play that she had done. When she put the white mask to her face, suddenly the software recognizes her. And then she and some few people got together and did a lot of research on the image recognition software. There's a clear bias. If you are a fair Caucasian male, you have a 99% chance of getting recognized. As your color and your sex changes, at her level, the software is not recognizing you as a human at all. Now that's the danger of bad data and biases. I'll give you another example. This is an experiment. It's an experiment. It's not a real thing. Experiment done by Anthropic with their Claude and multiple other chatbots, where they did a controlled experiment to give it a trade-off. And in the end, AI is all about goals, right? They give them goals saying that you will be replaced by this engineer because they are trying to get better performance. Now you figure out what you do. The GPT, the chatbot was smart enough to figure out from emails and access that it had and this is all fictional created, that this engineer is having an affair. I will expose it to your wife if you're going to replace me, right? They tested it across chatbots. 80% cases, all chatbots resorted to blackmail and guarding their own interest. Their own Claude did it in 95% of the cases. Now that's the danger, and that's why I say consciously you have to be conscious in building guardrails. You have to be conscious on creating a framework. We call it responsible AI. There are many frameworks available. Again, at Fractal we have one, but my suggestion is use one. It doesn't matter where you take it from. Last 2 points that I'll make is it is very important that you prepare your organization for AI, your entire organization. It is not just the technical people who have to get better at AI. It is not just the leadership that has to emphasize AI. Remember, everyone in the organization needs to use an AI tool. And why training them is important? A very quick story again. There was a study done where somebody took 110 cases of solved healthcare, clinical diagnosis, which was never exposed to the internet. So no GPT, nobody has learned from it. Right? These are raw cases. They're divided 3 groups. One group was pure ChatGPT. One group was ChatGPT with a physician. Third group was a physician group only. And the expectation, I'm sure, is that who will do better? It is human plus ChatGPT because two capabilities are combined. But the surprising result was, I'll just play it out, that it was the ChatGPT which got the best results. Better than only doctors, better than even doctors with ChatGPT, because the doctors overruled the diagnosis of ChatGPT, assuming AI doesn't know what it is doing. So if you don't train the human to work along with an AI, your results are not going to change, because we'll still have the human taking the call. And therefore, that's a very important part for your organization to look at. And the last one is that unless as an enterprise, we prioritize AI, right? Spends are limited. The environment is always tough. There is a geopolitical issues. There are tariffs, everything is pressing investments. And therefore, as many of us in GCCs, in organizations, see the budgets coming in, you have to consciously cut the money on run the business and invest the money on change the business and AI. So this is the last slide, a summary very quickly. What can you do? Reimagine every business process with AI. The world is not stopping, the world is going to change. You got to act today. Design the AI solution with adoption in mind. Don't design the solution for the sake of the solution or it looks beautiful. It has to be used by end users. If you don't know what they do in their daily life, you're not going to design a successful solution. You have to keep in mind these solutions need governance, they need guardrails. You have to get your entire organization reskilled and reshaped for the future consciously, start today. And the last, you got to spend money, right? Spend money on the right things. Thank you.
Sandeep, thank you very, very much.